Yo, what up guys, I'm Sammy and welcome back to the Soul Drop. In this video, we're going to be talking about the best slides for hoopers. So if you want a very comfortable slide or recovery shoe or something like that after you hoop or after you work out, then these are my picks. These are the best options, of course. And I would say, comfort is pretty subjective. Let me put this down actually. There's just so many, but yeah, of course, comfort is very, very subjective. And I try to put different categories into this video so I can try to cater towards everybody. You know what I mean? First of all, there are people that want just like the most comfortable slide. You know what I mean? Just underfoot cushion. You want the softest. You know what I mean? But also some people might want just like a really lightweight, slide that has, pretty nice cushion, but not the best. There's something always different. You know what I mean? Also, if you want a really durable slide, you know what I mean? Because a lot of slides nowadays they're just all one-piece foam, but some slides have a rubber outsole, which does improve the durability. If you're gonna be wearing these outside a lot, probably you would want a little bit better durability, you know what I mean? And also, as far as the price goes, there's a lot of price differences as well. So I'm gonna try to cover all of that for you guys in this video. And if you guys do want to get any of these slides or recovery shoes, I'll try to leave in the affiliate link in the description box. If you do choose to get any of these, it does help me out if you buy it through the affiliate link in the description box or kind of like the pictures underneath this video, where I try to leave a link like with the picture right over here. And as always, thank you guys so much for all the support. And also my socks are available as well. So they're kind of like a, all-purpose socks. So I put a good amount of padding in it comparing it to normal socks, you know what I mean? But also a little bit less padding than normal basketball socks, because normal basketball socks have a little bit too much padding to wear casually in my personal opinion. So I still has nice padding. It's very, very comfortable and also looks good. So a link to that will be in the description box as well. But yeah, let's get it started right off with the most comfortable in my personal opinion. And yeah, I just realized it's not on this table. I'm actually wearing it. So I've been maining this slide for the past couple of weeks, right? So this is the 361 degrees Joker Cyber. So this is a really nice kind of like overall slide for me in my personal opinion, you know what I mean? The most well-cushioned slide in my personal opinion are these two, which we'll get into. The Joker Cyber, if you guys didn't know, it's the Joker's kind of casual or recovery slide. It retails for 60 bucks, which I think that's like average pricing, maybe a little bit more expensive than average, but that's around average, you know what I mean? But the thing that I love about this slide is that it's just super simple. It looks really good. I've actually gotten a lot of compliments on this slide, you know what I mean? But also, it has this really nice drop-in midsole. You know what I mean? And they're using NRG N40 foam, I believe it was. And yeah, with this setup, it's really, really comfortable for step-in comfort. It feels like you're walking on a cloud, but it is a little bit less than, these two, or actually these three, which have a lot of compression right underneath your foot, right? So I like that more like minimal feel, you know what I mean? And as far as the upper goes, this foam is a little bit stiffer, but because the fit is a little bit roomier, I don't really mind it, you know what I mean? So this is a really nice overall slide for me that I wear pretty much every single day in my apartment. I never go barefoot because my feet get really cold. I don't like that. So I just wear slides all the time inside of my apartment, and I've been maining this, you know what I mean? But if you are looking for a slide or a recovery shoe that has the most compression, that's all you're looking for. You want the softest, you want to feel like you're walking on a cloud, that type of cushioning setup or slide, then definitely check out these three, right? So first of all, we got the AG Whale 2. So this slide is pretty much the Joker Cyber on steroids, right? So this also has a drop-in midsole, you know what I mean? And it's literally the exact same foam. It's NRG N40 foam, and it's kind of hard to take out because you have these kind of like nubs that keep the drop-in in place. But yeah, it is thicker. It's thicker for the actual midsole comparing to the Joker Cyber, so you get better compression right underneath your foot, right? So it's softer, especially in the heel, but also in the forefoot. It feels like you're walking on a pillow or walking on a marshmallow, you know what I mean? So I really like that. So if you want that, then this is a really great option. But one thing I don't like about the AG Whale 2, comparing it to like, the Joker Cyber and a lot of the other slides on this table, is that it's really freaking bulky. You know what I mean? So when I'm walking around, it feels a little bit cumbersome, especially when I'm testing out other slides in comparison, you know what I mean? Like if I only wear the AG Whale 2, it's not a It's not a huge deal because I get used to it, but when I'm switching from this slide to another one that's more minimal, then I definitely feel the difference, you know, especially comparing to like, you know, the React X Rejuvenate. But yeah, you know, look at this, you know, especially here in the heel, we have all this dead space, you know what I mean? Your heel, your foot's supposed to rest right over here, but we have like 2 inches of space, you know, so you got all that here in the heel. You have this material also isn't the softest either, so it does feel a little bit bulky. And same thing with the Shark Slide 3. So this is from Rigor, and you know, if you guys didn't know, Austin Reeves is signed with Rigor. So yeah, the great thing about this slide, however, is the price. This is only $35. You know what I mean? Also is using a drop-in midsole, and this drop-in midsole is the thickest. Like, it's literally the thickest out of all of these, you know what I mean? I would say maybe, you know, around the same as this one, you know, which we'll get into. But anyways, yeah, it's so freaking soft. I love it. But again, the one thing is that it does feel bulky. It feels really freaking high up off the ground. And you know, when I was only wearing this, you know, I got used to it and it wasn't a huge deal, right? But you know, switching from this to like, you know, the React X Rejuvenate or the Fresh Foam Recovery slide, I definitely noticed that it was, you know, very, very high up off the ground, very bulky, and also pretty freaking heavy. You know what I mean? Which, as far as the weight goes, right? All these slides, you know, actually differ a lot in weight, right? So the Shark slide is 11.2 ounces, you know what I mean? That's pretty freaking heavy for a slide. Comparing it to the React X Rejuvenate, which is 7.65 ounces, you know what I mean? So it's a huge weight difference, and also just a huge difference in how it feels on foot. So again, it's not that that's a bad thing, it just depends on what you like, of course. That's why I'm explaining to you guys how it feels. But yeah, if you want the craziest amount of cushion, the Shark Slide 3 is a really nice option. And also we have this slide as well. So this is the ASICS ActiBreeze 3D Sandal 2, and it retails for 90 bucks. This is the most expensive slide on this list. So so it's probably why I wouldn't recommend it. But if you're balling, then, you know, definitely check it out. But also another thing that really sucks is that, you know, it is 3D printed with this footbed, which makes it really soft. They make it really soft in, like, you know, the high wear areas, or actually where you put a lot of pressure on your foot, you know, like in the heel, also in the forefoot. But you can see all the like dust and gross stuff that gets stuck in here, you know what I mean? So that's one con about it. But also with this, it's really freaking soft. You know what I mean? Like, so when you're walking around, it also feels like you're walking on a marshmallow, but also it's a really thick footbed and you feel high up off the ground, which again, you know, if you're looking for cushion, I feel like you wouldn't mind it, but if you want like a more minimal feel, it's not the best, you know what I mean? So yeah, these three I would say is the most comfortable. The, you know, the Shark Slide 3, the ASICS, you know, ActiBreeze, and also the AG Well 2, as far as like the underfoot cushion goes, right? A very good medium or like overall slide that does everything pretty dang well. And my favorite is the Joker Cyber. And if you want, you know, a really comfortable slide, but also you don't want to spend a lot of money, this slide is a very, very, very nice option, right? So this is also a Rigor slide. It's the Shark Slide Mini, and it's only $20, guys. 20 freaking bucks. And it's just a really simple design, you know, just very, very simple slide. It's all one piece. And you know, obviously don't expect anything crazy, but it's also still really comfortable. The foam that they're using, there's a good amount of compression here in the heel as well as in the forefoot. So it has that really nice, like you're walking on a marshmallow feel, but of course it's still not as soft as this. You know, the foam is a lot softer in the Shark Slide 3, but again, for 20 bucks, it's really comfortable. It's a very simple one-piece design. It doesn't have a rubber outsole, however, it's just foam, so it's not gonna be the most durable, but again, 20 bucks, you can't really go wrong. If you're looking to save money, but you still want something really comfortable, then definitely get this, right? Also, another really comfortable option is the Crocs Wave Echo, but this slide is freaking expensive. It retails for $70 freaking dollars, right? But we have this footbed, which also is pretty dang soft. I would actually say it's around the same as the Joker Cyber. You know what I mean? So this and this are around the same, but this slide, this Croc slide, is just so freaking heavy and bulky. I'm actually pretty curious for the weight. In 9.45, that's not that heavy though. 9.45. 9.95. So the Joker Cyber is actually heavier, but for some reason it just feels bulkier. You know what I mean? It just feels freaking bulky. It also runs pretty dang long, so obviously just going down probably like a full size. But yeah, it still is really comfortable for the footbed, and I do like how it looks overall. You know what I mean? So it does look pretty dang nice. One slide that's actually pretty good for the overall price is the New Balance Fresh Foam Recovery Slide. So this slide is only $45. So if you want to save money, then this is a really nice slide. And if you want more of like a minimal feel, not super well cushioned, you know what I mean? I definitely do know people that don't like a really well cushioned slide. Then this is a pretty nice option, you know what I mean? First of all, it's still nice for the underfoot cushion here in the heel, but it's definitely, I would say, probably one of the stiffest on this entire table, you know what I mean? But also it's like one of the cheapest, you know what I mean? Besides the Shark Slide Mini, which is 20 bucks, this is the cheapest, coming in at 45 bucks, right? And it's just a super simple design, you know what I mean? And also you have this massage footbed. It feels kind of nice. So this is a great option if you're trying to save money. Of course, we do have the Adidas Infinity Mule, but I would say, you know, it's not the best, you know what I mean? Like, as far as the comfort goes, and also it does feel bulky. It doesn't really, you know, in my personal opinion, it doesn't feel as comfortable as the slides on this table, right? If you're looking for something extremely minimal, right, and but also you like something very comfortable, then of course get the Nike React X Rejuvenate. So this slide, or I guess this recovery shoe, retails for 70 bucks, which is pretty freaking expensive. But yeah, it's the lightest as far as the overall weight goes, and that's definitely the thing that I noticed the most. It has the best core feel and also feels the lightest and also the most minimal, especially with the upper material, you know what I mean? You're probably like, oh, upper material, like it's a slide, you know what I mean? But you know, especially with these closed toe designs, you know, with these thicker and like stiffer materials on top of your foot, I definitely noticed a difference between that and also this, you know, because this is just so freaking soft. And also another thing that I really like about, you know, the React X Rejuvenate is that it uses a rubber outsole. So this will be very long lasting. Especially if you're gonna be wearing these outside with this rubber outsole. The only other slide that has a rubber outsole is, where is it? The Wow slide, the Wade slide, right? So if you want a slide that lasts a long time and is also still pretty comfortable, especially for underfoot cushion, then definitely don't sleep on the Wade slide. I've actually, you know, this is the slide that I've been wearing for like the past, I think like 3 or 4 years. You know what I mean? Like I wear this pretty much every single time I walk my dogs, which I walk my dogs a lot. And if I just have to go outside to get the mail, take out the trash and stuff like that, you know, this is the slide that I wear outside, not inside. That's why it's so freaking dirty. You know, I'm sorry that I'm showing you guys that it's so freaking dirty, but like, look at the outsole. It's still pretty dang good. I'm definitely gonna wash my hands after this, but it's still pretty good. You know what I mean? After all these years, you know? So if you want a very nice, sturdy slide that's gonna last you a lot longer than most of the other slides on the market, because if you look at all the other slides, you know, they're just, you know, foam for the outsole. You know what I mean? That one, the Crocs, you know what I mean? So, yeah, that's a really good option, but also I feel like, you know, with this, I haven't had this slide for the longest time, but, you know, with the rubber outsole, I definitely feel like it will be a lot more durable than, you know, a lot of the other slides on this list, right? So that's my list of, you know, the most comfortable slides that you can get, or recovery shoes that you can get right now. I haven't tried everything on the market, of course, so forgive me if I did, you know, miss something. But you know, from what I've tried so far, this is kind of like my pick. And again, I really like this one, right? And if I'm gonna be going outside, then I'm gonna I usually wear this one, you know what I mean? It's just so freaking comfortable, lightweight, and that's something that's, I feel like, a little bit underrated, you know what I mean? Because a lot of these slides, they don't really take into account like feeling extremely minimal and low to the ground. I feel like they kind of more focus on like having a lot of cushion, you know? But also, if you guys didn't know, they're coming out with a slide. You know what I mean? So I'll definitely be checking that out when that comes out, but it's definitely just probably taking that out this part and that's it, and then having an open toe design, you know what I mean? But yeah, I don't really like wearing this inside because it feels more like a shoe. You know, when I'm sitting down, I like to take off my slides and just like, I feel a little bit more comfortable, you know what I mean? But with this, I have to like really take it off, and when I want to, you know, stand back up or something, get something, I have to put it on and slide it on, you know, compared to just like a regular slide where I can just slide it on, you know what I mean? But anyways, that about concludes this video. Again, if you guys do want to get any of these slides, I'll try to leave in the free link in description box. But that's it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.